thought I'd do a short background video just to explain why I've recorded a series of videos about UK student loans. Just a bit of background on myself, very short, quick video. So I have a degree from the Russell Group University. I went to university myself, did a degree in English literature in the mid-1990s. And if you're not sure what Russell Group University is, that's one of these research-intensive universities. The Russell Group itself actually formed whilst I was at university, so it became quite an important force in UK universities as a group of research-intensive universities work together to represent themselves with the government and sector. So that I might do another video a bit more about the Russell Group, but just for context, that comes up sometimes in the discussions about the student loans influence the Russell Group had on the setting of fees. After my bachelor's degree, I did a PGCE, which is a teacher training qualification. That's a one year qualification that you do on top of a degree in a national curriculum subject. Then I spent 4 years teaching in secondary schools, two different secondary schools. Then I left teaching. I worked for just over 3 years, about 3.5 years, working at the headquarters of a large bank, and I did reporting on savings mortgages. By that I mean it's management information reporting. So I created reports for management staff on the savings book mortgages. So that was a change of direction in terms of the career into financial services, and I did a lot of reporting on the savings book, the mortgages books, sales, underwriting stats, and worked on some projects to support the launch of new products for the mortgages side of the business. Then after I worked at the bank, I moved again and I went to work for Russell Group University, a different one than the one I studied at, the second Russell Group University. And I worked there for 15 years. And this is where I got most of my experience from regarding the student loans process. And I was working at that Russell Group University during the introduction of the fees and the higher fees and the student loans, particularly the Plan 2 student loans. And I had three jobs while I worked there. And the first job was a systems job, and I worked on a project to implement the systems that the university required to support the introduction of the higher fees and the bursaries and scholarships that were sat alongside those fees, because to enable the university to charge the higher fees, they had to offer bursaries for low income students from low income backgrounds. I'll probably do a video on that as well, because that's something that you very rarely hear about, but that was a big part of the work and a big part of the university's strategy in order to enable it to introduce the higher fees and also increase the widening participation numbers from students from low income backgrounds and students who hadn't been to university. So that was the first of those jobs. Second job I had there, I moved to finance services department of the university, which is the largest division of the university in terms of the staff numbers from non-academic staff. I worked there on some various projects. I managed a team that supported all the finance systems, and we implemented further systems, and I worked on projects and worked with project managers to implement further systems, again to support the introduction of higher fees. And we delivered an online system so that all the students at the university could see the fees that they're being charged online on an online account. And the third of the jobs I had at university was working. I was the head of student funding, and that team had responsibility for delivering the bursaries and scholarships, for delivering advice and information about student finance. And one of the roles or tasks I had, one of the responsibilities I had, was to give talks to parents at open days about student finance, about the fees, about the loans, And we also used to have a stand so that parents and prospective students could come to the stand, ask us, ask my team about the student loans, about fees, about maintenance grants, maintenance loans, all the things to do with funding for both UK and international students that the university offered and supported. So that's my background on this, and that's why I record these videos, to share this experience and to share my knowledge, to show some context for a lot of it, and also the background into why these decisions were made and why these things have happened that sometimes people are now wondering about, and also for some fact checking, because there's a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about how this works. I hope to bring that knowledge and experience to explain why we are where we are and how we've got to the situation that we find ourselves in with the student loan book and the unhappiness with the systems and with those loans that many millions of students are experiencing. And then finally, the more recent experience is working for a university in Ireland. So again, change of pace. That's obviously not relevant for the UK student loan system. They're certainly given a good perspective on how things can be done differently in a parallel country, which has a very similar system in terms of the university setup. The universities are run very similarly in Ireland as they are in the UK, but that's a country that hasn't gone down the student loans route. So I may be able to reflect on that as well. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the other videos. I have a number in my head.